Lilina has gotten access to a new weapon called Forblaze, which can simply be obtained by getting her to 5 stars and spending some SP to learn it. Forblaze is a unique tome for Lilina, and so it comes with a higher 14 might. Forblaze's effect is that at the start of the turn, the foe with the highest resistance stat on the enemy team will receive a -7 res debuff that lasts through their next action. This is the same effect as chill res, and if there are multiple enemies with the same resistance stat, then all of them will receive this debuff. This is pretty simple, and basically since Lilina does magic damage, she guarantees the enemy with the highest res stat will be taking more damage from her. If you refine Forblaze to get its special upgrade denoted by this familiar symbol, Lilina will receive +6 attack during combat when she initiates a fight. This effect is the same as Death Blow 3. Now I love Forblaze on this upgrade because it's a breath of fresh air of simplicity compared to some of the newer weapon effects that have whole paragraphs you need to decipher. It also fits Lilina's stat line really well. If we look at her neutral 5-star stats, the one major standout is her insane 37 base attack, which becomes 40 with a plus attack nature. She ties for the highest base attack in the game for mages, and with her new Forblaze tome, she becomes the queen of one-shot KOs. With 25 base speed, Lilina will have a hard time keeping up with other faster mages, but if you think about it, if the enemy dies in one shot, who cares about speed and follow-up attacks? Forblaze doesn't try to patch up Lilina's weaknesses, instead it fully supports her standout trait. Now I want to compare Lilina with Sanaki because Sanaki is also a red mage and is the only other mage with 37 base attack. Essentially, before these two got their unique weapon upgrades, you could say they filled the same role of high single hit magic damage. They have incredibly similar stats, with Lilina being slightly more physically tanky, while Sanaki has better magical bulk, but only very slightly. You can also see that their base kits also didn't really hold anything special, and honestly people will probably replace both of their original weapons with a red blade tome. However, the introduction of Lilina's Forblaze upgrade and Sanaki's Emblem upgrade have been able to separate the two a little bit. We've covered Forblaze already, and basically including its upgrade, it's just Chill Res 3 and Death Blow 3. Sanaki's Emblem got an update and her refined version got a different base skill, which is simply Drive Attack 2. If you give her the special upgraded version, Sanaki gets +5 attack and resistance during combat if she is within 2 spaces of a flying ally. This is most similar to the attack/res bond skill, but she can be within an extra space farther away, which opens up some more positioning options. You can see that while Forblaze has 2 effects concentrated on straight damage, Emblem buffs the team and Sanaki gets a boost to her great attack and also her really good resistance. Lilina is free to position anywhere for her damage as long as she initiates combat, and Sanaki gets a boost on both phases, but is restricted to staying near a flying ally. With these refinements, I would say both of them now fill different roles as red mages. Lilina focuses on nuking enemies, while Sanaki thrives in a flying team and can still dish out and tank a lot of magical damage. I wouldn't say one is clearly better than the other since they both can necessitate different playstyles. One thing that should be noted, however, is that Lilina is now a 3 to 4 star unit and Sanaki is still stuck as a 5-star exclusive unit. Obviously many more players are going to get Lilina, and honestly, if you don't have both of them, then the decision on who you should use is pretty darn simple. Availability is definitely a factor in gacha games, and Reinhardt has proven that point pretty clearly. Now I want to discuss the merits of a blade tome because I know a lot of people are going to be asking why use Forblaze over a blade tome, and plus everyone has experienced the pure power blade tomes can offer. So first off, Forblaze brings its own damage boost, and what I mean by that is that it's Chill Res 3 and Death Blow 3 effects. -7 resistance on the target and +6 attack when initiating means Lilina gets 13 points of extra damage. Also consider that Chill Res and Death Blow cannot be stopped by your opponent directly. Chill Res will literally always debuff someone unless Lilina is dead, and Death Blow being a combat buff can't be nullified, at least not yet. +6 damage against everyone and +13 damage against the highest res enemy isn't that bad, but blade tomes do offer a higher damage potential. They can reach +24 attack if Lilina is under +6 field buffs for all 4 stats. The only way to reach this for an infantry mage is through the tactic skills so far, and currently speed tactics still isn't in the game yet. Plus, requiring the support of field buffs comes with its own problems. The panic status completely screws over blade tome users, and Lilina does not have a high enough HP stat to prevent panic poi from proccing. There's also the issue of not even receiving the field buff if Lilina gets separated from her allies. Last, blade tomes come with an increased special cooldown penalty, and this does mess with a unit's build options, which I will showcase later. While blade tomes possess tremendous power potentially, they only benefit the user. Forblaze and its Chill Res effect can help out the team, and it means if you pair Lilina with some other magic damage users, she can indirectly buff their damage as well. Even if it's only against one target, that could make a difference. Additionally, Chill Res itself can help out Leaf and Felicia, who both have unique weapons that benefit from the enemy having their res debuffed. Obviously, this is a bit more specific, but it's another example that having a support skill tied to the weapon is great for team building options. Overall, I think blade tomes are great, but Forblaze does a good job of giving Lilina a unique role. She gets a decent damage boost without having to rely on her teammates to pass her buffs. Now let's talk about a few builds, and Forblaze makes things real simple. If you give Lilina Death Blow 3 and the attack plus 3 Sacred Seal, a plus attack nature 5-star Lilina with 0 merges can reach 69 attack on initiations without any buffs. That's pretty scary to think about. With that much attack, you can very much one-shot a lot of red and green units. Since one-shots won't grant a ton of special cooldown, I recommend Glimmer since it's the best 2 cooldown special that scales super well with high attack units. For B skills, Lilina has a couple options, and Swordbreaker is one of the best ones to go with for more KOs. It also may keep her alive by not letting her get doubled, since Lilina's base 25 speed is really bad and she will be getting hit twice by just about everything. With this build, you always want Lilina to be initiating combat because the 2 death blow effects will grant her an extra plus 12 attack. With any additional attack buffs, you just increase her one-shot potential, which is what we are going for. If you don't have death blow 3 fodder, Lilina herself comes with the attack plus 3 A skill, which is a fine budget option as well. Next, I want to talk about heavy blade setups because with all that attack, Lilina basically guarantees heavy blade always procs. Not many things will be able to have higher attack than Lilina as she initiates, except for other blade tome mages and life and death class cannons. The idea behind heavy blade is that as Lilina one-shots enemies, she can get some help charging special. 4-turn AoE specials are ready in 2 attacks, and 2-turn specials are ready after 1 hit. So Lilina can nuke one enemy and then have Glimmer ready to KO someone who may survive her one-shot. Remember when I mentioned Blade Tome's weaknesses? Well, because they increase special cooldown by +1 permanently, Blade Tome users cannot pull off this same build as effectively. Glimmer would be on a 3-turn cooldown, meaning they need at least 2 attacks with Heavy Blade to charge it. They need 3 attacks to charge AoE specials, which go back to having a 5-turn cooldown. So while Lilina may not have the highest one-shot attack possible with Forblaze, she can use Heavy Blade to actually get specials charged up. I do think this is actually a good positive of Forblaze over Blade Tomes, even though ideally, Blade Tomes don't care about having access to specials anyway. Also, keep in mind that Lilina as an infantry mage does not get as easy access to +6 buffs because there are no infantry class emblem buffs. In summary, Lilina being in the 3 to 4 star pool makes her easier to get, and you have a better shot at getting that amazing plus attack boon. Forblaze also differentiates Lilina from Sanaki as being the pure high damage initiator for red mages. Sanaki being locked to the 5-star exclusive summoning pool does mean a lot of players just won't have her anyway. As a unique legendary weapon, Forblaze complements Lilina's simple playstyle very well. Chill Res and Death Blow 3 both focus on increasing her one-shot potential, and Lilina isn't concerned about any fancy follow-up attacks or any confusing skill descriptions. She simply wants to initiate a fight and blow up whoever stands in her way in a single hit. Lilina is literally the RPG character who throws all their skill points into just strength, and luckily for us, we don't have to worry about missing in heroes. As we talked about Blade Tomes, it's apparent that Forblaze allows Lilina to have amazing damage potential without all the hassle of relying on team buffs. She may not be able to reach the highest ceiling, but she can do just fine. As a last remark, I want to point out that I've mainly just been focusing on using Forblaze purely for offensive initiations. It doesn't mean I don't think you can't use it with other supportive skills. I think Forblaze allows for a very fun one-shot offensive playstyle, but that is very much not the only way to use it. Hopefully this video was useful for any of you who have some extra Divine Dew laying around. Maybe in the future, Lilina may be a unit you want to try out, and I would highly recommend waiting until you get a plus attack nature to invest in. Forblaze has an absolutely amazing animation as well, and it feels really good to just one-shot a ton of units that can be annoying. Overall, I think the Forblaze weapon and upgrade is very good. It doesn't introduce any complicated effects, but it's just a simple way to make sure Lilina hits as hard as possible. Lilina is now a decently common unit to get, so if you guys ever get that itch to just watch the world burn, maybe give Lilina a chance. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video.